and this time we are going to discuss one of the most important topics for class 10th, heredity and evolution. This is one of the chapters which is pretty new for a class 10 student, and it's also extremely interesting. So today we're going to focus on exactly that is genetics. We're going to study one aspect of it, that is monohybrid crosses today. Just to give you a brief of actually what genetics is. Genetics is the study of transmission of genetic information from parents to offsprings. So why we are exactly like our parents is because the information stored in them is transmitted right into us. The aspect that we are going to study in today's classes is monohybrid crosses. Monohybrid, mono means one, and monohybrid means that we are going to focus on only one characteristic while considering this cross. So we are going for monohybrid crosses. Okay. Uh, so kind of like there are some prerequisites before we actually start this. Considering that you all know them, I'm going to discuss them in brief. The first concept is the difference between chromosomes and gametes and how chromosomes, uh, the normal chromosomes and the gametic constitution is different from each other. So chromosomes का usual number, if we are talking about humans, just take an example of humans. So all the normal cells of our body have 46 chromosomes inside them. On the other hand, gametes are always known to have 23 chromosomes, that is half the chromosomal content. Now, why are they having half chromosomal content? Because later on in life, when fertilization is to take place, a male gamete is going to combine with the female gamete to restore the normal number inside the zygote. So, if both of them will be having half only, then the normal number will be restored. If both of them were having 46 chromosomes, then 92 would be present in the zygote, and that will not be feasible for the population. To explain the same thing to you, I have an image here that's going to show you gamete formation. Yeah. So we just go through this once. As we can see, initial number of cell. So it has a pair of chromosomes. You can see that there are two chromosomes. Now it undergoes the first division known as the first division, which is meiosis 1, which reduces the number. And then if you see, it undergoes another sequential division, that is meiosis 2. You don't have to get into the details. And you can see that there are four gametes formed, each with half the chromosomal set, that is 23 chromosomes. This is one of the prerequisites for learning about monohybrid crosses. Yeah, the other thing that we are supposed to talk about is a scientist who firstly began with these crosses. That scientist is Mendel. Mendel is kind of like the father of genetics. He conducted such important experiments, and he worked on a plant. He worked on pea plant that we commonly consume in our daily lives. Pea plant, scientific name of which is Pisum sativum. I hope you're all familiar with the ways to write scientific names. That is like this. Not a part of this chapter, but biology students will be interested, right? So he worked on Pisum sativum, and he took seven characteristics of pea plants, seven contrasting characteristics. One of the characteristics in each of the cases was dominant, and the other one is said to be recessive. So, a dominant character is represented, for example, by a capital letter, while a recessive characteristic is expressed by a letter in a lowercase. Okay. Dominant is known to be dominant because it represents itself irrespective of what the other component with it is. So, in a combination of two capital T's, it will clearly express itself. In a combination of one capital T and one small t, it will also express itself because it is the dominant trait. So, the plant in either of the cases will show the characteristic of the capital T only. On the other hand, under recessive, recessive trait will express itself only when it is present with an identical copy of itself. That is only in this situation. The trait will express the characteristic recessive characteristic only when it is present with another copy of itself. That is, in a mixed situation like this, it will be showing only the dominant trait. This was another prerequisite that I had to discuss in brief before we could proceed. The characteristics that I have talked about here, keeping this capital T and small t in mind, these characteristics are for the height of a plant. So, where capital T stands for tall and small t here, it smalls for the shorter height, like the dwarf plants. We use the same alphabet in the lowercase and uppercase, right? So I'm going to be adding another page to show you the 7 characteristics that Mendel took, and I'll be inserting a screenshot in here. Hopefully it comes on. Yeah, so it did come on. Right. Zooming in a little bit to explain. These are the 7 traits, 7 contrasting pair of traits that were taken up by Mendel in pea plant. Let's go with the one that we just discussed, that is tall and short. Tall being represented by capital T, short being represented by small t. Short plant will be obtained only in the condition of two small t's occurring together and not in any other case. Okay. Other characteristics we can see. Axial pods. Pods here refer to fruits. Axial pods, and we have terminal pods. Here axial pods are the dominant condition and terminal pods are the recessive condition. Fruit color. We have all seen that pea plants, pea fruits are green in color. So green is the dominant condition represented by capital G, and yellow is the recessive condition represented by small g. Form of the fruit. Inflated or constricted. Yeah, or full or constricted. That is the shape of it. Is it like swollen enough? So we take inflated to be the dominant trait and we take constricted to be the recessive trait. Flower colors. So the flower colors have to be white or purple. White being the dominant trait and purple being the recessive trait. Color of the cotyledon or the seed. You can go with the seed color also. That is yellow being dominant and green being recessive. If you can see that the seed color and the color of the pod are actually opposite to each other. So you don't have to get confused. You have to remember which is the dominant trait, which is the recessive trait. Finally, seed shape. Round is the dominant shape and wrinkled is the recessive trait. So all of these recessive characters will be expressed only when both the copies are of the lowercase allele only. So they will be expressed only in the similar condition. That is when both the copies of the chromosome are in the smaller one only. That is in the recessive state only. These were the 7 characteristics that Mendel took under consideration here. Coming up to monohybrid crosses. That is, we are actually going to take up a cross of male and female parents now. So we have a male parent. Males are being represented by this symbol. I hope you all must be aware of this. And we getting it crossed with the female parent. Female parents being represented by this symbol. Suppose the genetic, let's just take height for an example. Monohybrid crosses are considering only one trait, so we'll be going with height in this one. Now, suppose the genetic constitution of the male is this. That is clearly your plant is tall because it has both the copies of capital T. Female, on the other hand, let's just take an example for the female to be short heighted because it has both copies of the smaller t. Okay. The next step will first be gamete formation. Gametes will be formed from these individual cells, and then those gametes, male and female gametes, will combine with each other to form the zygote. Since it has only one option, it has only capital T, so all of the gametes will be receiving only the capital T copy because there is no other option. There is no small t occurring in the male parent. Similarly, for females, only the small t allele can be passed on to the gametes because there is no other option. There is no capital T occurring here. Now, the male gamete is going to combine with the female gamete and it is going to form the zygote. Zygote's genetic constitution will have one capital T from the parent and one small t from the female parent. So all of the zygotes produced will be of the mixed category, that is the heterozygous category. In appearance, they are all going to be tall because all of them are having at least one copy of capital T, and even one copy of capital T is enough to cause the tall phenotype. Moving on to form the second progeny, that is the second children of the same generation. Here, we are going to take two plants again, male and female. So we have the male parent getting crossed with the female parent. Let's take both of these plants to be heterozygous this time. That is, both of them having a mixed combination. So in this case, we usually have like a small method known as the Punnett square method to find out the progeny for them. Firstly, we are up to forming the gametes. So half the gametes formed will be having capital T in them. The other half of the gametes formed will be having small t in them. Similarly, in the case of females, half the gametes formed will be having a capital T allele, half the gametes formed will be having a small t allele here. Now, there are so many combinations possible with these two types of gametes. How are we going to proceed with it? Using a simple square method. So, I'm just going to draw a square here. For monohybrid crosses, you're going to divide your square into 4 blocks. You will write the gametes of the male parent on one side and you will write the gametes of the female parent on the other side. Starting with the male, one capital T, one small t to be written here. Similarly, with the female gamete, one capital T, one small t to be written on the other side. Now, using the simple analysis, we're just going to complete this table. This is an intersection of a capital T and another capital T. So we're going to fill in with that. This is an intersection of a capital T and a small t. So we're going to fill it with that. Similarly, we're going to fill up the remaining boxes also. Now, these are the 4 progeny that we are going to obtain on getting this second generation. Let's see what we have here. What are the 3 types of genes that we obtain? Genetic combinations. One combination is this, other combination is this, and finally we also got children with this genotype. We got one child with capital T capital T. We got two children with capital T small t. And again we got one child with small t small t. So the genetic ratio or the genotypic ratio here, it comes out to be 1 is to 2 is to 1. This is the ratio for the genotype. We can also calculate the phenotypic ratio, that is how they actually are in appearance. कि दिखते कैसे हैं, अंदर से जैसे हैं, that doesn't matter in the phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio talks about the looks of it, that is tall plants or short plants. So let's just count the number of tall and short plants obtained here. So capital T is going to be tall. Capital T small t is also going to be tall. And this is also going to be tall. So out of 4, you got 3 plants that were tall. On the other hand, you have only one of them, that is small t, which is going to be a short hybrid plant. Only one. So we could write down here 1. So the phenotypic ratio as obtained from this comes out to be 3 is to 1 for monohybrid crosses. We have obtained both of these ratios, that is 1 is to 2 is to 1 for genotype and 3 is to 1 for phenotype. Similar monohybrid crosses can also be conducted for different pair of characters. You could have crosses between the round and wrinkle seed shaped plants for practice. You could have crosses between the yellow seeded plants for crosses. Each monohybrid cross F2 progeny will always yield you a genotypic ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 1 and a phenotypic ratio of 3 is to 1. These were the basics of monohybrid crosses that we covered today. A pretty important topic for boards. So I wish all of you pay attention to this and do great, since this is all entirely based on understanding and you don't have to cram up for the first time in biology. So best of luck everyone, and I hope you all do great.